Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Now this right over here, folks, this might be the worst news that Kamala Harris has received all campaign season. She's been looking for that elusive win now, hasn't she? She just needs one big media win to turn the tides of this election in her favor. But unfortunately for her, everything she's tried has been a swing and a miss. And this last-ditch little Hail Mary that she's attempted here, it might be the final failure. In fact, it might be the biggest failure of all. Democrats and their ways. They just don't listen. The southern border's in chaos. Border Patrol is yelling from the mountaintops. People living in border states clearly have it in their top priority list. But the Democrat response is, no, that's not actually happening. Inflation is through the roof. Spending needs to stop. The money printing has to stop. The irresponsible fiscal nonsense needs to come to an end. And the Democrat response is, what do you mean? It's just transitory inflation and the economy is actually great. It's always the same pattern of behavior. They just don't listen. And in this instance, Kamala Harris follows through on this typical Democrat MO. She just doesn't listen. She doesn't seem to have an interest in what voters are asking for. All the voters want is for her to be real for a second. Just be a normal human being. Speak honestly. Don't speak in tongues with your random non-answer political mumbo jumbo. Actually address the issues. But instead, what do the people get? Orange man bad. Donald Trump is a literal fascist. Hitler this and Hitler that. The same old frickin' spiel that we've heard a million times before. The same defamatory nonsense and a clear avoiding of key important issues. And frankly, let's call it the ignoring of the American people, and it's just resulted in disaster. That, of course, was my initial perception. We've made videos essentially point for a while now, but I'd say after this focus group, after we hear from undecided voters in important swing states, after we hear their reaction to the latest Kamala Harris strategy shift, well, I'd say it's yet again, or probably the biggest failure of the Kamala campaign. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. Take a look at this focus group. It seems as though the reaction is unanimous. People are done with the anti-Trump fear-mongering. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so here's the viral moment that's bouncing all around X. We've got an undecided voter from Pennsylvania answering a question here, and just listen to the response and also take a look at the facial language, the body language of everybody in the call.
I can't. I think part of the reason why I'm being pushed towards Trump so strongly is that I find that the Democrats and the left just keep going straight to Hitler all of the time with everything. Like it, and if it's not the left pushing Hitler, it's the right pushing Stalin. So it's like we're fighting World War II every single day for every single election. So it's so exhausting. I think it just detracts from, it pushes me away from their position, and it's so hyperbolic that it makes it impossible to have good discussions. And I think it ruins the discourse.
Does anybody think it's valuable or something you want to hear from the vice president? Anybody? Raise your hand if you think this is something that's important for her to be talking about. Anybody?
It seemed rather unanimous now, didn't it? Not even rather unanimous, it was unanimous. They all pretty much feel the exact same way. What are people looking for? They're looking for candidates who are going to actually address the issues that the country is going through. But what do they get as the big October surprise? Not vote for us because we have this incredible plan and look at our amazing results. No, a distraction from all of that. Don't look at our plans. Don't look at our very recent track record that has obviously made you poorer, less safe, and the world less secure. Orange man bad. I think that undecided Pennsylvania voter hit the nail on the head. He's tired of it. People are tired of it. And clearly, it's the source of all the division. It's the source of all the craziness that's happened since Donald Trump really came on the scene. Barack Obama said this the other day at Kamala's rally.
I don't understand how we got so toxic and just so divided and so bitter. And I get why sometimes people just don't want to pay attention to it. And we all have friends like that. We have family members who just like, it's all a circus out there. I get that.
Oh, we're so divided, more divided than ever. Oh, it's a mystery why that's happening. Is it really? Of course it isn't. Every freaking day, Trump is Hitler, Trump is Hitler. I mean, for Pete's sake, Joe Biden called for Donald Trump to be arrested the other day.
He is talking about doing away with the entire Department of Education. He means it. This is not a joke. This is a guy who also wants to replace every civil servant, every single one. thinks he has a right under the Supreme Court ruling on immunity to be able, if need be, if it was the case, to actually physically eliminate, shoot, kill someone who he believes to be a threat to him. I mean, so I know this sounds bizarre. It sounds like if I said this 5 years ago, you'd lock me up. We got to lock him up. Politically lock him up.
I wonder why the temperature is so high in the country. I wonder why there's all this division and all this craziness happening. It's obviously not a mystery. Even Democrat strategists understand it. The defamatory rhetoric has got to stop. People want to focus on the issues, but obviously the Democrats aren't listening, and Kamala Harris certainly isn't listening. I think this interaction right over here pretty much tells you all that you need to know.
What do you say to those people, especially ones who might be concerned that, doing a big closing argument speech at a place like the Ellipse, maybe leaning more into talking about the threat of Trump to democracy and not his threats that you see to the economy?
One of the things that I love about the American people is we can hold many thoughts at once. And one of the highest priorities for the American people right now is bringing down cost, and that is the priority of my agenda and will be the priority of my work when I'm elected President of the United States.
It seems as though even the leftist press is concerned, and they're trying to, I guess, give the Democrats or give Kamala Harris a little bit of a clue. Hey, this rhetoric's not landing. Are we going to have a pivot in strategy? And Kamala Harris responds with more political nonsense word salad city spiel. The simple fact is the Democrats don't want to run on the issues. They only want to run on fear. And you can see it by what's being platformed. The people are asking for one thing, but the Democrats are delivering something entirely different. What can only be described as constant fear-mongering rhetoric. Hillary Clinton was recently deployed to CNN to make a comparison of Donald Trump's coming up Madison Square Garden rally to, you guessed it, you-know-who's 1939 rally.
And one other thing that you'll see next week, Caitlin, is Trump actually reenacting the Madison Square Garden rally in 1939. I write about this in my book. President Franklin Roosevelt was appalled that neo-Nazis, fascists in America were lining up to essentially pledge their support for the kind of government that they were seeing in Germany. So I don't think we can ignore it.
And of course, if it's not German mustache man, it's Vladimir Putin, right? Another story that's now breaking. Elon Musk apparently works for Vladimir Putin.
Elon Musk is the richest man in the world, a huge booster of Donald Trump, and according to the Wall Street Journal, is in regular touch with one of America's key adversaries, Russia.
This morning, a startling new report about one of Donald Trump's most ardent supporters, Elon Musk.
This is no ordinary election.
A regular on the campaign trail, and according to the Wall Street Journal, the tech titan in regular contact with Russian President Vladimir Putin since 2022. The Journal saying the contacts raise national security concerns, given the ties between Musk, SpaceX, and the U.S. military and intelligence agencies.
It's just so insane. And even when the leftist media isn't going down these insane rabbit holes and they're actually talking about the economy, it's again more insane fear-mongering nonsense.
Why are these economists so opposed to Trump's plan? Because the economic effects would be pretty terrible. This is a study done by Bloomberg Economics, and they found that Harris's plan did not have much change in either the GDP or inflation, which in a sense is a good thing at this point. But look at what Trump's plan would do. Trump's plan would cut the GDP by 8.9%. And let me put that in perspective for you. This is roughly twice the amount that the GDP went down during the financial crisis. Wow. So we would be looking at something between a recession and a depression.
GDP is going to go down 9 percentage points if Donald Trump enacts his agenda. Negative 8.9% GDP. Come on. I mean, who is buying this stuff? It's just fear-mongering. It's just to make people scared and emotional. But it's obvious, based on what we saw, that people simply just aren't buying it. They've had enough and they want to return to normalcy, and they've learned that voting for Joe Biden was not that return to normalcy. They were, in fact, lied to. Donald Trump is not the problem. The people engaged in these extreme tactics, these lies, deceptions, all this extreme hyperbolic rhetoric, they're simply the ones to blame. Trump is speaking about the issues. Meanwhile, the Democrats are doing their best Chicken Little impression. The sky is falling every single day, and it's just not working anymore. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.